welcome back to the Phantoms Fanatic YouTube channel. And yes, new set. Well, technically it's the new old set. This is where I was filming in before, but then I had to move to a different space, and then there was that backdrop thing. But no, this is the new set here. So yeah, it's a standing set, and I have a lav mic. But yeah, this is the new set. So if you guys have any opinions on what to do, I'm going to be changing out these little action figures and guys ever so often, and I have a new camera. But, yeah, so as you can see, Beetlejuice poster, Back to the Future, other stuff here. I plan on putting a bigger poster right here, but I gotta wait to get it in. But, yeah, no, and then my Blu-ray shelf down here. But anyways, this review is of M3gan, released this year in 2023, starring Amy Domhnall, Gina Davis, Allison Williams, Violet McGrew, Kimberly Crossman, Brian Jordan Aswell, and it was directed by Gerard Johnstone. The plot of M3gan is that Allison Williams plays an aunt of a little girl named Katie, who her parents died tragically, and, you know, she takes custody of her sister's daughter, but she doesn't know what she's really doing half the time. But her and Katie do try to work together on trying to resolve some things, but she works for a company that builds toys, and she's like a scientific engineer and stuff like that. So she shows Katie, her niece, a new project she's working on, M3gan, life-size electronic doll robot with a high-powered processing system that is allowed to cope and help children learn and stuff like that, and to do the task of the parents pretty much half the time. M3gan and Katie start to bond with each other more, and Katie becomes so reliant on M3gan because of the tragedy and grief she feels over her parents' death. But M3gan also has a dark side to her, where she turns out that as she's learning, she will do anything to protect Katie because of her advanced AI system. When I first saw the trailer for this, I thought the movie looked really fucking insane, because you have a life-size doll with those huge-ass eyes with the electronic voice talk-to-speak Siri-type voice, but you know, I was like, at least it looks like it's a bit self-aware about the ridiculousness of its premise. I think that really helps out with the film's final outlook and message that it's trying to say, because this film, I'd say I would like about 2/3 of it. I actually think the weakest part of this film is the horror elements surrounding M3gan. It's kind of just standard killer doll, killer robot type affairs with that. But what I really like that they do is that they really do take the idea of a child who is experiencing grief and pretty much has this new parental figure in M3gan. They even mentioned that to Allison Williams. Her co-workers are like, you want to have M3gan be there to help them, not replace the parents entirely, and that's practically what M3gan does in this. And I like that they really do dive into the problems that would arrive, especially in Katie's scenario, with M3gan being a distraction from her parents. She turns angry. She has a negative outlook on the world whenever she's not with M3gan. It's a distraction, pretty much, and they point that out. And I feel like the satire with that, especially with talking about electronics and stuff like that, the fact that M3gan is an advanced AI, I feel that really does work out well. And I feel like them trying to tell that message really resonates with modern audiences, especially with screen addictions and stuff like that, but they do in a fun, satirical. I've heard some people compare it to Paul Verhoeven type satire, and I definitely see that, especially with the company that Allison Williams works for. So, yeah, those elements of the film I like, and most of the comedy in this film works out very well for me. Allison Williams has a lot of straight-faced reactions that made me laugh, and especially the jokes they do with M3gan, interacting with Katie and interacting with other people, especially when she's going to kill them, I feel like do a good enough job doing that, because the sing-songy, like, Alexa-type voice that they give M3gan, I really do like, but there is emotional and vocal talents into it. And the effects around her really do sell this character. I'm not sure if it's CG or a mask or makeup, I am not sure. I would be interested to figure out how they did the effects, especially her movement and stuff like that. I'm really interested in learning about that. The downfall of this movie, in my opinion, is the horror elements, because they're just so standard killer doll, killer robot affair. You know, this movie does a very good job, like I thought the Child's Play 2019 remake did, talking about, you know, satire of toys and stuff like that, especially with electronical stuff, and them raising and being connected with the children instead of the parents doing that. I thought that that was a really good message, and that does get pointed out in this, but it kind of just turns into normal horror climax at the end of this, and the horror scenes are so predictable, and they're not the funnest to me because this movie's rated PG-13, and I really do feel like it being R-rated really would have helped out with my enjoyment of the horror scenes if I was like, okay, this is standard, but it's at least like a funny, gory kill. Like in the trailer, there's the scene with the power wash, and I was like, okay, that's funny that she gets knocked off there, and in the trailer, it's kind of played for comedic relief, but in the movie it's just played seriously, and I really don't find it all that interesting or engaging. Not saying that the horror elements are poorly done. I feel like the scene where in the trailer, yet again, where she rips the boy's ears off is one of the better horror sequences of the film, but the other ones I just feel don't jive pretty well. And the climax is very standard for this type of movie's affairs. You can see it coming from what's going to happen, what they set up early on, and it really didn't surprise me at all with what its message was there. But I still think the horror elements are fun enough, and I do like the back and forth satire with the company advertising M3gan and stuff like that, even though a lot of the jokes I really do like, because a lot of them are really funny, especially Allison Williams' deadpan reactions to a lot of stuff, and her, like, yelling at her neighbor to fuck off and shit like that. I found that really funny, and especially the fact that M3gan just starts singing and stuff like that, but it makes sense. They make it mostly believable that this AI has character, but as I said, the climax, I feel like it would have been a bit more interesting if they dived into an establishing factor that Katie and M3gan are linked, and M3gan doesn't feel like she can hurt her, but it kind of doesn't do that near the end, and I feel like that would have been such more of an interesting idea if they kept to that. It would have made a more interesting climax. There are some weird things in this because they pretty much make this off-brand Furby shit. And I like that they mention that M3gan is creepy early on, especially when they just put a latex mask over her. I feel like that works out well. And it is believable that these dickhead CEO guys would be like, yeah, I could see this selling, you know. But it is ridiculous that nobody else finds it creepy, and there's some side points like a guy trying to steal stuff from the company that really doesn't add up to anything near the end, and there's a cliffhanger that didn't need to add in, and then that scene in the forest, the boy who she pulls the ear off and pushes out onto the road, this is all in the trailer, so this isn't spoiling for this. He starts to like throw her to the ground and take off her shoes, and he's like kind of sitting on top of her, and I was about to be like, is this going where I think it's gonna go? Because a similar thing happened in Pearl, if you guys seen that movie, where you see a scarecrow, and I jokingly went over to my brother, is she the scarecrow? And yeah, she did, and I was thinking in my head, like, this is PG-13, what is that kid doing? But no, a good amount of the comedy in this movie does land. A lot of the acting is well done, especially from the little girl, especially when in the later half of the film, she's showing more of the anger and rage and problems that are showing up because of her reliance on M3gan as a distraction. And I feel like Allison Williams and her really do share a nice message throughout the film. I do feel like the horror elements do bring it down a good amount, but I still recommend it. It was a fun watch, and if you've seen the trailer, you know what to expect here. I feel like it has a good, heartwarming story at the core of it that is taken seriously, which I do like, with the satirical edge of comedy and stuff like that in it. I just feel like the horror elements could have been more heightened if the movie was rated R, or if they were just done better, in my opinion. But, yeah, so, hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Comment your thoughts on the review, and if you have any other movies you want me to review, leave those in the comment sections as well. Make sure to like and subscribe down below if you did enjoy. And, yeah, I'm glad to be in the new set, new camera, new everything. But, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be reviewing else this week, but maybe I'll go see something tonight and have a review out. Maybe Fablemans or something else. So just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.